Hello, welcome. This is Deana with the Daily Dharma, and today I picked up the Tao Te Ching deck and I was going to shuffle it, and it felt like I needed to lighten the mood right off the bat. You have a card turning in the deck here from the Love Notes from the Universe deck. Okay, I heart you. What was my color immediately? If everyone really knew how much they were loved, not only from above, but by those now in their life, there would be little hearts drawn on everything from wheelbarrows to skyscrapers to jumbo jets. And I so look forward to that day. There isn't a soul on the planet who doesn't crave your approval. And to be beautiful in the eyes of another, simply forget they're watching. Tally-ho, the universe. So somebody wants your approval and is definitely into you. Now let's see what the Tao says about the engagement of energies here. Something a little more 5D and symbolic with the Tao. 72 coming out of the deck. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without a teaching so that people will have nothing to learn. Interesting. So there may be a difference of ideology between yourself and another. Someone who's possibly had some crisis of faith in the past and has really been able to have a lot of solace from those religious teachings or the authority of others, guidance of others here. And so when there came something confusing in the center and somebody was looking for guidance and approval and perhaps a solution to something, the message is to step back from trying to be a problem solver for this individual, that you teach without a teaching so that they can come to their own conclusions about what they are happy or unhappy with and determine their own course of action on their own. It's not about our validation or approval. It's not about our expectations or hopes and dreams in this case. It seems like for other people, we're being taught not to, even myself, let's say, don't blindly trust the authority of what I would say about an individual here as though some type of doctrine or religion. Spirituality talks about the energetics being in flow and how even my own energy is tapped on into a specific narrative every time I start to pull the cards. So there's, in the Leo season, at the time of this broadcast, we're in the season of Leo. We're all looking for approval and bonding, and Leo rules the heart. And so somebody really is in their heart space and wants the approval here. What's under the deck with the Tao? 66, number synchronicity. All streams flow to the sea because it's lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them. The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to her because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her. So we had this one, I believe, just yesterday in the broadcast. And we were talking about the flow towards the wholeness of feeling connected and plugged into the entirety of the experience, the above, the below, and staying humble in that quest, and having sometimes the positives and negatives of ego and coping mechanisms that can arise that are part of this wounded nature that some of us have had to deal with and other people have avoided dealing with. It's not that there are people here who have never had anything bad happen to them, but some people engage and dissect ad nauseum almost too much, and they get stuck in that energy. There are those that look at it and leave it alone and wait for it to show its magic. There are those that dive right into it and move right beyond it and seek the solutions behind the dilemmas. But at one time or another, we've all felt that humbling energy of insecurity, vulnerability, and wanting to have some semblance of approval, especially that divine masculine essence that really wants to be well thought of and to help out and to serve other individuals in order to earn their place or their own self-approval. And there's something here about looking at the ego needs in a new way, in a more compassionate way, to explore some type of new opportunity to heal, self-serve is what I keep wanting to say. So I also was really wanting to get a message from the combined Kuan Yin Kali deck today. It's been calling me for a few days and it's been resting. Let's see, what does the Divine Goddess have to say to us today? And then we'll get into the code cards and the shamanic deck, and if we have some time, you know I love to get into the handwritten cards to find out just a little bit more of the third dimensional dilemmas and energies that are moving around. Those sometimes can reveal the underbelly of what's going on a little bit easier than oracle cards. But Kali is the soft, graceful mother, and Kuan Yin Kali is very assertive, aggressive, and self-realized. So we had a little stack coming out. So the stack that came out, there are 3 Kuan Yin cards and 1 Kali card. I'm going to try to keep these back here so we don't go too orange on the screen. I'll just talk about them briefly. Reveal the Peacock Beauty is about recognizing what your soul harmonic is authentically calling you towards and what makes you different and unique and special, and reveling in that beauty. And it's no mistake that my energy does color the reading, and just before going live, having felt this tension in all of our lives recently coming up through the collective, with this big activation of Mars, Uranus, and North Node of Destiny, it's like and the Lionsgate portal with the Sun in Leo. We just had the new Moon in Leo, and Mercury is just at the 28th degree, so we'll be reaching the critical degrees of Leo, communicating the maturity of the sign. And I already said that Leo rules the heart space, And some people might think that the heart is the element of water, but the sacral chakra in the pit of the stomach is the water element. The heart is actually ruled by the air element. And so heart analysis, I want to say, and that one's called Anahata Kali. That's Kali of the heart chakra, I believe. And then we have turquoise lotus mother, 42. Oh, okay, I didn't say the other numbers. Reveal the peacock beauty is 24, and lotus mother is 42. So that's a mirror. And then this heart chakra is 33, master number, and then we have 28, sisters of the sun rising, and under the deck, dynasty of the divine mother. So I don't know if this has to do with the feminine lineage, a mother and some sisters, or if this is needing to connect with some of the feminine essences and personalities in your world on the more literal sense. But let's see. It's a heart-opening experience. And we have two mother cards here. So turquoise lotus mother and dynasty of the divine mother. I feel that this may be, some of you may be single parents, and it doesn't have to be a single parent actually, but I must have said that for a reason. But the turquoise lotus mother seems to me someone who has been more like an earthly mother, someone who nurtures other individuals. Maybe somebody who others come to for advice or for food or for fun and affirmations and a revitalization of the heart chakra. You may represent peace and beauty to many other individuals here. And you seem to be poised and pulled back into your energy, taking a pause to validate the self here. That's a higher function of Leo, is self-validation. And the sisters of the sun rising seems to be this rising of Sirius B, which is the alignment at the that's perfecting in the skies at the time of this broadcast, where our sun is in alignment with Sirius B. It seems to be that someone is rising up, like the energy is rising, that Shakti feminine energy rising up, the Kundalini energy activated in the root, and then being fired up and calling that energy upwards into the heart and saying, what is it? What is my divine destiny? What is my dynasty? And this may also represent somebody who's a generational healer or who is breaking generational trauma from their ancestral lines, particularly on the feminine side of your lineage. Gaining strength, new beginnings. This dynasty of the divine mother is a depiction, that's the word. I was going to say pictorial. A depiction of green Terra, and since we're on orange, she looks orange. Trust me, she's green in here. And under that, immortal treasures. So dynasty of the divine mother is 8. So that's like gaining the strength and courage to remain open and honest and self-loving in the midst of chaos, being the eye in the center of the perfect storm. So I am in a habit of picking those up first, and I've been told that more and more those are going to be my clarifiers. Splitting the deck at stranger, under the deck was vanishing mirror, ego sublimation. I love that combination. So it's somebody new on the scene compared to this generational line that we're talking about. So the generational line may depict your background, your lineage, and the dynasty that you're correcting and leaving forward. And stranger here, maybe somebody new on the scene, maybe somebody you still will be encountering, or somebody who is just seeming to be a mystery, an anomaly, or somebody that you're just getting to know. There's curiosity here, and then there's this ego sublimation. So we talked about humility being shown to yourself, recognizing some type of faulty mental love instead of unconditional love coping mechanism that may have arisen and been practiced and came out maybe somewhat without mindfulness, I want to say. It was just a practice pattern and something came out, and this individual or both individuals, all individuals, may be looking into the ego's needs here, like we were talking about. What was it that caused this? So we have Sweat Lodge and the stranger now on the split here. So Sweat Lodge, I'm feeling, is depicting this individual really going deep within themselves, having the need to retreat and get into a more insulated environment to do some self-reflection, straddling worlds, wandering between realms with the Sweat Lodge here, transmuting this issue on the other side, working with their religion, perhaps, their doctrines and their expectations and projections, and perhaps their own feminine lineage themselves. Like maybe they have some mother issues, maybe you have mother issues, and maybe one is more regarding, one is pursuing more of the knowledge and material planes, and one is creating divinity and natural resource sustainability or regeneration here, leaving it better than you found it. So, okay, just a couple more. The Crow, straddling worlds under the deck now. Want to make sure we get a nice shuffle. And I do see that my camera seems to be jiggling around. I hope that you guys are bearing with me. Many masks, the authentic self coming out first. I'll show you guys these in just a second. So somebody's been perhaps wearing a mask, maybe even with themselves. I'm seeing some level of self-justification, self-sabotage, and self-limiting beliefs, something like that, that is happening because we've got this heart awakening and we had ego sublimation. Lost compass, getting back to integrity, is 35. The first one was many masks, 38. That looks very ghosty. It's very like a little bust of a Buddha with this mask, that mask, a couple different ones. One that looks like a pouty face in its actual chest, breast area here. It's like somebody, everything is fine, everything is great, I have all of this under control, nothing that you can do matters to me, I am stoic and pure, and I'm going to be just fine, I'll do it myself type of masking here. And then somebody's, or whatever it is that's this ego, like, or they've got some type of transgression here, because we have getting back to integrity. So somebody may have made a declaration that didn't sit well with another individual. Okay, Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. I'm seeing that as a depiction, also throwing back to that Sweat Lodge card that popped out. Under here, Luminous Warrior. All right, two more. 20 minutes. So it looks like they've been kind of kicked out of the Garden of Eden. You know, like they've created some type of transgression that has kind of put them in, I want to say, either the doghouse or the put them on the outs with someone else. This may be, again, family oriented. It may be generational wounding that's causing you to act out of your normal alignment. Then we see eyes of the eagle rising above the fray coming in. Number 18. I love this card. It's really taking a very, very close look at something. This eye seems to be like we talked about, the eye of the storm. It's really looking at the details, having to look at the words and the actions of another individual, and to move beyond appearances and perspectives and inner fears and outer circumstances, to rise above appearances, to have the eyes of the eagle. This reminds me of the mystical Shaman card in the other deck. Well, in this mixed deck. Dream Thief. Yeah, you know what? That's incredible. Just behind that eyeball there, you see that wing behind its eye? That was just reminding me of Dream Thief. And look at what is under this deck. Dream Thief, refusal of the call. And behind that, I've got to take it now. And then behind that, joyful muse, inspiration. Number 33 on that one too, just like the heart chakra card. And then we have repairing the veil under here. So yeah, we'll take those. Repairing something that, the transgression or something. Somebody was wearing a mask and being somewhat selfish, I want to say, somewhat self-serving, which is great in the right circumstances. I like to preach everybody being sovereign and taking care of themselves. But this here seems to be someone that in a moment where they could have, would have, should have done something, they may have gotten into their ego and all of a sudden had some type of mommy issue crop up, where then all of a sudden this immature coping mechanism, a fear mechanism, caused a retreat and a rebellion against the earthly mother here, this person who is connected to their heart chakra here on their quest to self-love and this emergence. We keep talking about, as we purge the shadow and integrate those positive aspects of our shadow, merging with more light, emerging out into the world, showing our gifts without as much fear, and then ultimately fearlessly to some extent, of course, creating the soul resonance with others that then allows for group identification and convergence of manifestors, co-creators, people that are going to be in an interdependent, more symbiotic relationship where everybody has not a role cast upon them or a job to do, but more of an opportunity to explore their curious inspirations, to joyfully create and explore their gifts amongst others who don't share the exact same gift but the same similar interests, so that everybody has their niche within the whole, serving back to the whole. So we had a couple code cards coming out here. We've got 29, healing, under the many masks. Lost compass, getting back to integrity. Who knew? About face. Transition, 43. And then under Garden of Venus, rest and renewal, sacral chakra, there's the water. The rest and renewal card is interesting. We just had a rain here last night, and it's reminding me about, you know, the need to be in your present tense. If you are engaged in everything that's missing, everything that's wrong, and depleting yourself daily, you will absolutely feel like something is missing. But when you're replenished daily, then this is your reality, this Garden of Venus. And so some type of emotional flow was needed, or a self-care, or a conversation, some type of realization of where that piece is and how to create it in yourself, so that then you're not expecting someone else to come in and provide that for you. And having this, getting back to integrity, it's like, oh, okay, I see how that went down. And now this self-worth and this self-love energy is boosting. Somebody's taking that time out for self to look at those details, communicate with their ancestral line. And if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that the hummingbird represents my passed on mother. We have a hummingbird here. And it's just kind of reminding me that there is abundance no matter where you look. It's what you're looking for that you find the abundance of. And so once we get back into our integrity, into this sacred flow, in honoring the dynamics of the emotions that are rising up, and speaking and invoking, invoking our value and speaking our value out into the world and holding ourselves in high regard, is like its own sacred invocation. And when we're in that space, it's unmistakable. Okay, coming out. And I saw remembrance and fertility when I peeked there. And that's when I was looking for a clarifier on Eyes of the Eagle. So, interesting. Eyes of the Eagle. What are we rising above? There's been some type of challenge maybe to our fearful, wounded nature. Maybe something to do with, is there love here on the table? Romantic love just came out in my hand. Well, I guess that's our answer. Thank you for being so direct, Spirit Source. Eyes of the Eagle, looking for the details. Is there love rising above the fray? Yeah, searching for that romantic counterpart. And it happens when you're in inspiration mode within yourself. And if you're not busy creating and manifesting, then you're in this refusal of the call energy, like the apathy and destructive energy that comes in. Consciousness under the deck with conception. So clarifying dream thief, refusal of the call here. Putting an end to this false projected, it's like projecting our fears into our future, taking those remembrances of something from the past and recreating it in the future. That time is done. There's that fertility card. And we've been talking about how the mind and the imagination is a very fertile place, and so is anything that we look at, we find abundantly, right? So refusal of the card, of the call, we have fertility here telling us that you have a lot of creative energies, and the more that you've been through challenges, the more fertile that landscape is to then put into something, to pour into something from the heart space. That abundant heart, the repressed energies or suppressed energies here are rising up from below the earth's crust, I want to say, and rising into the heart. And we're all feeling this heart cry for resonance and for deliverance here in some type of a way, for expansion of our gifts and our potential with Merkaba under the deck there. So what clarifies joyful muse inspiration? Clarifying that, soul time. Yeah, soul time is not only about gardening and meditation or even being alone. Sometimes it's about just being in the flow of the zone, that sacred flow of inspiration, whether that could be taking a walk by yourself on a riverbank in a park. It could be going to like I want to say a concert, but I'm sensing something not like a huge venue, but something like a concert in the park where you just happen to be walking by and then there's somebody playing music and it's like, oh, and I'm just seeing this clip. Oh, and it's just making my heart just happy in the moment when I'm remembering it. Every time it creates a heart release for me. Two songs are coming to mind. And I'm thinking about music because of this muse. And if you're having trouble staying in that present tense and that gratitude of where you're at and transmuting that energy and finding those details, finding something to be happy about, finding something to pour yourself into. The first song is by one of the Rising Appalachia sisters. Oh, isn't that amazing? Right? Rising Appalachia sisters, but this one comes up as Leah's song, and it's Thank You Very Much. And it's just beautiful. And then the other one is by a band that I absolutely love. You may have heard of them. They're kind of have a little bit of a side alternative following. You won't hear them on the radio. They're Nako and Medicine for the People. I hope some of you guys love them as much as I do. But one of their first enormous hits, more like a ballad, was Aloha Ke Akua, which is also a song of gratitude. So, yeah, it's like about the journey to gratitude, towards that inner self, towards the expansion, the moment of release of the illusion of suffering, and the ability to really be in the heart space fully and present for yourself, and to really give thanks for the journey, for the future, for the present, and for this body, for these divine limitations, for the ability to have any type of sense enlivened by anything delightful or inspiring, and to, yes, empowerment is under the deck. So repairing the veil has to do with some sense of getting back into the heart space, being grateful and empowered to reach into your destiny in a powerful way, to heal this generational trauma. So, okay, I know that I keep saying I want to keep these shorter, but I want to take some cards. So guilt and shame was left on the desk when I picked up my cards. Under that was reassess your reasons for busyness and prioritize goals. And then we have single parent and music reminds me. Is there a song that's coming to mind, one that you want to sing or say or share? I saw 3333. So if somebody's feeling guilty, and that I laid it down right on top of getting back into integrity and Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. Yeah, you're somebody's safe place, and they don't have access to your energy in the same way that they did once before. And coming out now, we have workaholic, Neptune, live a life full of love and light, but still master the throat punch. QRS or T may be first, middle, or last initial. This one keeps coming out. So this Neptune with workaholic is like, this may be how they avoid dealing with difficult things. It may be a coping mechanism where they can gain validation and a sense of productivity and being a contributor and gaining approval of others through their outer accomplishments and those people that will tell them how special and awesome they are for their work. And so they gain so much identity through that there's this element of self-deception here with Neptune. Somebody who has worn many masks for many different people, is willing themselves to go and be whatever each individual wants them to be, and not really engaging with their full self. And this individual being out of alignment with themselves has probably said or done something in the thread of a moment that really pissed you off. And I'm definitely seeing that this is creating a divine result, however. So whoever took you for granted here, or if you took someone else for granted, being in your workaholic nature, and this individual being probably more of a flow, natural individual, and refusal of the call, you may not have taken their call. But yeah, whoever took someone else for granted is really being pushed back into their own energy. And yeah, self-care. So that must be that sweat lodge we have. They're sweating it right now, trying to figure out how to take care of themselves in some type of a way, and you are taking care of yourself in this way. Oh boy. Reclaim your power is upright. This is a whole slew of cards. Timeline jump, quantum leap, and hands off is showing up under the deck here. Like someone's making a quantum leap out of this energy, because this throat punch energy, this taken for granted, dream thief, and refusing the call, it's like somebody wanted to keep you safe and secure up on a shelf, and wanted you maybe to just kind of miss out on some of your opportunities so that you would need them more, it seems like. But you're reclaiming your power from this codependent type of energy and taking a quantum leap forward. There were some low vibe entities, lower attachment energies at play between this dynamic here. It could be this workaholic card can often be like a third party. I mean, whether it's a person or a circumstance, when somebody is giving their attention exclusively in unbalanced amounts into one direction, instead of balancing their relationships in a healthy manner, and then coming back and forth with weird expectations or vibrations, then this definitely can be, yeah, that can definitely be this lower attached energy, attachment to some type of delusion, illusion, game playing, inner child. I'm just going to read these. Material concerns, scarcity, limits, blockage, superficiality, and trophy. Somebody was really surface level here, and they just made a statement or a behavior choice that put somebody's value, it compromised someone's self-respect and dignity here. And this individual probably has a heart blockage. And I was thinking recently that it's no mystery why many individuals have a heart attack early. It's not necessarily because these individuals are necessarily like overweight, but many of them end up also having those issues. But stress and blocking the heart's abundance is the main cause that I would suspect is at hand when we have people having a heart attack that are young, probably workaholics, working towards having some type of trophy. And I was feeling that obsession energy, obsession with creating this, and it's a past life influence here, or maybe even a passed on loved one's influence. Father issues, and I was just thinking of like the urge to prove something to one's father before it's too late, before the father is gone. I wanted you to chase me. Next 48 hours, 5555, things are going to change drastically. I, J, K, and L may be prominent initials. Overthinking, stress, and nerves. So frenemies, solar plexus chakra, chakra activation. So activating your will and creativity because somebody was acting against your best interest. Somebody disregarded or acted in a toxic way towards you or disrespected you in some type of a way, causing an activation of your transformation. So stress, trauma, inner jewel shines through. So being like, I'm going to take this sun rising energy, this chakra activation energy of solar plexus energy, and call that forward, and I'm going to show you who the F I am. I dream about you. I was trying to get a reaction. Now I'm just looking at your pictures because I'm kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Addicted, self-medicating with either work or obsessive overthinking, whatever they soothe. They may, there's a lot of different things we can be addicted to. Gaming, porn, gaining others' approval, of course drugs and alcohol, substances. I want to marry you, but there's such a long distance here. Somebody was taken for granted. And this is all probably during the dating phase, getting to know somebody. Then we're getting this electromagnetic counterbalance yin-yang energy. It's as if the polarities of the individuals, both people, are then pushed back and unto themselves, into their own energy, and then are contemplating how to balance their inner nature before contemplating any return here. But with yin-yang, it's an activation of both individuals so that both individuals can reclaim some of their own power in this. Yep, because give and take, sharing, overcompensation. There was inequality, unequal. Stealth tactics and games were being played. And then we have full moon, lunar eclipse, harvest. So we had a full moon lunar eclipse on May 16th, and we are going to be having another one. I cannot believe or remember exactly the date, but it's coming in, I believe, October or early November. I can't remember which one's first. There's a solar, and then there's a lunar 2 weeks later. Spelling. Mind your mind, guard your tongue, thoughts become reality. So you may have, so right now that we just had 2 days ago, I believe, the new moon in Leo, which is the midpoint between the eclipse cycles. And so this is generally like each eclipse pairing has about a 6 to 9 month effect, depending on how it plugs into your chart and depending on how powerful the players are, that all the aspects that are there. But there's something that needs to be released, this heart blockage at the minimum, boundaries, illumination, liberation. So don't get stuck on a shelf. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Evil eye, return to sender times 10. If somebody was playing some games and then came in and wanted to take advantage of you and tell you what you deserved and how they were going to treat you, I think that you told them very, very precisely through your words, actions, or no words and non-action, what you thought about that. That's where I'm at. You inspire me. I have mad respect for you, trying to impress you. So yeah, ulterior motives, maturing masculine, leader, entrepreneur, boss, trendsetter, legit. Does this align with your highest path? Glow up and third eye chakra. UVWXYZ, falling for you hard, mask, front, and compromise. Choose your battles, yield and share with this soulmate. Retreat, and shift your focus. Somebody was learning their lessons, wasn't at their best, but they still see you in their future. They're in anxiety, mind over matter right now, trying to figure this out and how that all happened for them. So whether this is family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, whatever, we're going to get some of these romance angel cards just to tell us, what do we need to know about this? Attraction and chemistry. Calling in your soulmate, this could be the one under the deck there. And is that enough? I think it's got to be enough. I think I just want to close off by, since this is all about the heart chakra, let's really take a moment, and if you feel so compelled, put your hands on your heart space. Beautiful, powerful Mother of sacred universal heart, who lives within our hearts as the wisdom and healing power of love. Your heart knows how to heal and how to open, how to break and repair itself to become stronger and wiser than before. Yes. Forgiveness, repairing the veil, and under that, it was sitting there the whole time, ego sublimation, and there's that motherly ancestral hummingbird directly under that, and new moon, maiden, new beginnings with child. Somebody's inner child and mother issues are being healed, I want to say, through this heart journey. How to break and repair itself to become stronger and wiser than before. Your heart cannot be contained or constrained by what has taken place. Your heart, wisdom, and empowerment, yes, we have that, are growing. Soon you shall have the wisdom and courage to accomplish something very important for your soul journey. Trust in the invisible workings of divine love. Let your heart be at peace. So trust this time, whether it seems to be the end of something. This is just a new beginning, and what is just keep on flowing with this heart energy. The journey of the soul is the journey from the head to the heart. Anahata is the Sanskrit name for the heart chakra. Anahata Kali is the goddess who secures the awakening, the transformation, and liberation of the heart. Love is her expression. When Kali Ma touches the heart, it becomes capable of love that is increasingly unconditional, fearless, and compassionate. Such empowerments often manifest through loss and betrayal. In responding to such challenges, we grow our heart's capacity for love, processing and healing of emotions of grief, betrayal, and anger. Our hearts become stronger through the process. The human heart is capable of overcoming enormous negativity. It is an astonishingly powerful and beautiful temple of spirit. We can underestimate the extraordinary power of the heart by focusing on its sweetness, love, and light, as though they were weaker than anger, fear, or the consuming intensity of grief. We can only begin to understand the spiritual world and how they operate when we let go of the human perspective. A human believes that the heavier and denser something is, that the more powerful it is, and we believe that it is more real, more materialized. A heavy emotion like anger or physical situations that appears gridlocked are given more weight than the intangible realms of spirit. Yet spirit is behind all things, in all things. Being invisible does not impede its effectiveness. If anything, it enhances it, because it's liberated and it is free to act. For something so seemingly invisible, love has unconquerable power. We affirm this in expressions such as love can move mountains, or love will always find a way. Yet we are conditioned to believe that there is more power in what we can see and control rather than the spiritual power of love. Such conditioning pulls us away from the heart connection and into the fear-based belief system that we need to control things or there will be no benefit, no safety, no happiness. However, we can never be safe if we are disconnected from the spiritual home of the heart where all healing, wisdom, true guidance, spiritual protection, and regenerating vitality resides. Oh, I just have to keep going. If you all want to click off, you can go ahead, but someone needs to hear all of this. The backlog of emotional pain stored in our hearts can sometimes cause us to shut down, even when we know that in closing down our hearts, we lose out on love's joy and wisdom. We may go through the motions of living, but without the real emotional juice and revitalizing engagement with life, Kali Anahata brings a message from the Divine Mother that she is supporting you in healing your heart. I feel as though I missed a period in there. I was on a roll. She wants you to connect to more profound joy in life. Yes. Repair with the veil and joyful muse. As you trust yourself and trust in her, you can heal even long-term karmic scars. You can learn to return to love, to be in love, to live the love with your ever beautiful heart. Once you're in your heart space, living there, it can be hard to remember what it was like before, yet many still live in such a way, driven by fear, plagued with anxiety, hardened through living in a way that is oppressive to the spirit. The oracle asks you to acknowledge how far you've come and where you would like to go, not so much in terms of external markers, trophies, but in terms of emotional freedom. If you've been focusing on healing a specific issue in your life, the oracle indicates that you have the strength, wisdom, and courage of heart to accomplish that. For those that have had their heart broken in love, in spiritual communities, by friends or family members, by God or life itself, the message here is that something deeper is taking place. The shattering of structures and trophies and towers, shattering of illusion, so that we can repair the veil. The shattering of structures, even of ideals, gives the heart the opportunity to break free and open up to a greater and more satisfying experience and expression of love. Becoming non-defensive, softening and opening to spirit with unconditional trust places you in a position of astonishing protection, empowerment, and grace. Keep your heart open to the Divine Mother. Through that openness, the right thing shall emerge at the right time. The walls we build around our hearts need to be broken down so that we can fulfill our sacred purpose and path. Trust that the pains of your past do not have a place in your future. No matter what appears to be, she knows the way through. Temper your fierce emotions without denial and denying them. Keep bringing yourself back to your center. Continue to find the moderate and peaceful resting place within, even as you make radical progress on your path. The oracle predicts the successful completion of a time of spiritual initiation. Grace yourself with the gift of relief and trust that all is well. I love you so much, so much. 5353 at the end of that. I hope that this has given you some greater inspiration and hope for healing energy to come into this situation. I just wanted to remind you that sense of creativity, inspiration, hope, and serenity is key to healing this next leg of the journey. Step back so that people won't be confused. Teach without teaching. And don't compete with others for who can wear a bigger mask, who can be more distant or the whatever. We're healing the urge to be invulnerable, and we're getting back to the truth of what we really wanted to generate here. It seems that there's attraction in chemistry that got away from somebody, because chemistry is more than just the attractive chemicals. It's also the chemical balances that happen when we're obsessed or when we're addicted to certain thought forms, ideals, or unhealing or whatever, or when we're addicted to searching and creeping on details and trying to find things, instead of answering the call and telling or being a demon slayer. Fear can be false evidence appearing real. So repair that inner landscape. Somebody was looking for your approval here, and you may have given them something to chew on that they didn't care for, and they snapped back. I'm not really sure, but there's a return to integrity and rising above this lower attached energy on all behalves here, hopefully. And it's creating a lot of creative redirection to get back to what you were supposed to be doing. Like, this was a distraction energy that was so divine that it broke down the illusion and put you right back into an energy where you can adapt and shift your own choices here. So start with self-love, and I love you much. Take care of you, and I'll talk to you soon.